Welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome back to another video. Today we are broadcasting all over the place. We got the man, the myth, the legend, Aaron. We got Mike Crypto Cuban, and most important, we have turned the page into a new chapter. Aaron, take it away, sir.
Hey guys, welcome to our first weekly AMA for Book. Really pumped with how everything went with the launch, and everything that we got to talk about today. So we just actually had our chapters turn. We're now in chapter 1. So you'll notice here on our Burning Books page, you still got your totals there, and our I've got to update. So our chapter 2 burns now, they're empty. So now, all the burns that happen now are going to impact the next week's rewards. This next chapter preview, I got to just update. Oh no, actually that is right. So right now it's showing the perma burns. So this is like the 1% burns from the first chapter.
Oh, nice.
So actually, let me just throw one in there just so we can kind of show how that looks.
Oh, Mike, your cube just turned red when he said that.
Red for burn.
Yep.
Okay, there we go. So that was throwing me off a little bit at first, but so now you can see your chapter 2 burns here, and so the burns from chapter 1 are going to slightly impact chapter 2 with those 1% from the perma burns. So that's good. I just pushed an update to get rid of this countdown saying expired, and also I'll reset this. So right now, when you go to the farm page, it's showing the chapter 2 farms, which don't exist yet. So I'll push an update to make that default to chapter 1 in a sec. But yeah, for now, you'll just have to scroll over to chapter 1 when you visit there. So
if that's easy enough.
Sure.
Oh, you guys I see someone's getting echo. Maybe my speakers are too loud. Let me turn that down.
That might be a little better.
Yep. All right. Awesome. So, yeah, we got a lot to go over today. Let's get right into it. So, I guess the first thing we can talk about is price action that we've seen. So let's pop on over to Deck Screener. So we're pretty much right at where we launched at the pre-sale price, which is basically 0.4 cents, like 0.004. So, and I know myself and a lot of people in the community, we were thinking that we're gonna, with all the marketing that we poured on, that we were gonna explode right out of the gate. That is also what I was kind of anticipating to happen as well. But thinking about it a little bit more, we did a really large pre-sale. It was a $400,000 pre-sale, and because of how big the pre-sale was, it took a couple days to sell out. So I think that with our previous pre-sale that we did, we had some better price action right after when trading launched, and I think that's because that pre-sale had sold out in 7 minutes. So there's a lot of people that actually missed the pre-sale that wanted to jump in. So I think just our own community being as tapped out as it was with the pre-sale, that there was a lot of buy pressure that I guess I was anticipating coming from there that didn't show up. So, it's basically our buy pressure is going to majority come externally just because of how big the pre-sale was, which is perfectly fine, right? The whole protocol has been designed to be able to use our farms, and I'm going to get into that in a lot more detail, but use our farms to be able to grow our reach and reach some of these massive communities on BSC. So that's all definitely going according to plan. So actually, let's real quick, just because I know the farms did just start. Okay, good. That countdown timer is gone. Oh, nice. Everything's working nice now. Yeah. So let's take a look. Okay, there's a few too many decimals there on the rewards, so I'll have to fix that. But but yeah, the rewards are pumping out.
Nice.
Yeah, so all looks like it's working nicely.
Damn, pretty sweet rewards right there.
Yeah, I don't have much. This is the deployer account. I don't really have anything deposited here, but Let me go on a different wall that's got a few deposits just so we can take a look at that. There we go, 159 book there so far with just a 2K deposit. What else does this one have? Nope. 55 cents there off a 5K deposit. So yeah, and it's only been 6 minutes. So I'll clean this up to have a few less decimals after the stream. But yeah, it's all working just as it was supposed to. So good stuff there. Yeah, so yesterday I did push some updates to the farm just to make it a little bit better for depositing and withdrawing, and hope everyone's not having any issues anymore. And if you are, be sure to let me know either in the chat here or in Telegram. But there's a lot of other updates coming to the whole DApp. There's a lot of improvements that I've recognized. Part of that being the first impressions. We did a lot of marketing. We drove a ton of traffic to the website, and I think that our homepage and among some of the other pages is not doing the best job possible at kind of conveying everything that book is about, and the bullish farms and the APRs and the burns, and I think that our homepage can have a really nice design and kind of have some of those key metrics there, right? Like the number of burns, maybe the ranges of APRs that we have in our farms, just some really enticing stuff that would have call to actions to go dive deeper into the DApp and check us out further. So a lot of updates coming. And one thing I want to mention is that book is a really fresh idea, right? Everything that you see related to book in terms of the smart contracts, this is like a multiple smart contract big project. This has all been created, designed, developed in the last week and a half, right? So we work super quick over here at Book. And if you can see what's been done in the last week, just imagine where things are going to be in the next 2 weeks or a month, right? So this is just the very, very beginning. So, I know that things still need to be polished a little bit, and, there's some things that we're still ironing out, but pretty much basically anything that, needs to be changed or updated to ensure a successful future is something that we're able to do, and that we will do very soon.
That's exciting, Aaron. A lot of what you mentioned are basic requests that people have wanted to see come on the site. So that's good to hear all that's getting taken care of.
Yep.
And, I think, sorry, go ahead, Mike. I've been talking a lot. I'll let you.
No, I was just going to say, maybe include on the front page or on the farm page, just a real quick, one-liner on why buy book? What's the bullishness behind book?
Yeah.
Why would someone want to buy and hold it?
Yeah, 100%. We got to get that message across on all the pages. The farm page. So one improvement that I'm working on right now is getting the APRs and everything showing without having to actually click on the farm, right? Yeah, and also, and preferably even showing your deposit and your rewards. So just so you can see everything at a glance without having to go in. So something else that we're going to do is, because of the way that, the best way to look at the farms. Actually, this is another big topic I wanted to talk about is, when somebody mentioned the price action in Telegram earlier, I kind of already responded to it, but I really feel that some of the selling that we've seen was probably coming because people look at it like, oh, this is an emissions token. This is a the farms are bearish because that's just going to get more tokens out there. And it's really critical to look at this. The farms were designed for a very specific reason, and we are going to fine tune the DApp, and anything that needs to change in terms of how the farms work, we will change to achieve our goals, which are to get book into the hands of hundreds of thousands of users on BSC, right? And the way that we're going to do that is by having, farms for these big popular communities and making it very easy for the community to share this to the world, and specifically to those communities, to get all those communities participating in book. So some ways that we're going to do that are making it really easy to share the farms, right? So having share buttons on the farm where you can, send a tweet, or you can, copy something to post into Telegram, just to be able to make it that easy for people to share the farms. And just overall improvements to not only the design, but just the whole way you interact with the farms is going to see massive improvements in the immediate future.
And I think, Aaron, it's pretty safe to say that there is probably going to be a utility moreover for book, rather than what we're just seeing right now, right at the start, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, some people have mentioned having a book farm itself, right, where you actually deposit book to earn book, and I like that idea. I, I I think that like that doesn't really help us accomplish our goal of using the farm rewards to kind of spread our awareness and reach. But at the same time, it is great to give another utility, I guess, to book. So we'll be thinking on that and open to suggestions in terms of how that could look. Some of the ideas that we've already had are possibly having like that be the one farm that actually is locked up, as opposed to these farms where you can just deposit and withdraw as you please. So that's one idea. I think that idea, the idea of having book staked probably makes most sense if it impacts some other aspect of the project as well. Like maybe, I don't know. We have to think about that a lot more. But just because of the fact that staking book, it doesn't really help us grow our reach. There has to be something else to it, I think, for that to make sense. Because I mean, it's when we attract tens of millions of dollars to the farm, like we do only have like 4.8 million book being emitted per week with our current parameters that can be updated. So we don't want to take too much rewards away from what the farms are intended to be doing for us.
Or maybe an LP locker, like you'll have to pair book with BNB and then you lock it away for a certain time frame in order to generate book rewards, something like that would actually benefit the token and the platform overall.
Yeah, that could definitely work because then at least it's contributing liquidity, right? So it's beneficial, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. Just checking through some of these comments here. Could be same flavor visually as we had with MSS UI update. Yeah, I mean, I think overall, just we need to make the website look more like a meme token website. Just that's a little bit more flashy. Delivers not a ton of text, but the core key information in nice, easy to digest chunks, kind of that has like calls to actions to the various pages of the DApp where we want to drive users to.
Yeah, meme token websites are usually very flashy, very cartoony, lots of animated colors and stuff going on. This is actually like a very simplified, kind of refined meme token website. But yeah, we could probably schnazzy it up a little bit.
Yeah, just make it a bit more visually appealing. Like I think that we really need to nail that like first impression, right? Like I want someone to be able to hit the website and within 3 seconds, like they're thinking I should probably buy this, right? Like until we get to that point where they can come to that conclusion immediately, like it still needs some work. So
sure. Yeah.
Let's see what other comments we got here.
Here's a UI idea. Yeah, that's it right there.
Can get a tab in the farms that just shows the farms we're staked in, like my farms. Yep, we can definitely do that.
Cool. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Got 15,000 book right before it sold out. Will I even see anything from that? I'm not sure what you mean. If you got 15,000 book, that's what you're seeing from it, right?
Gotta hodl and find out.
Possibly have the book farm used for liquidity bonding. Oh, like so, kind of like the bonding concept that we have for moon yield, I guess.
Yeah,
that's an interesting idea.
Kind of along the lines of the LP locker.
Yeah. Again, the critical thing is that like we really have to make sure that those farm rewards get utilized to grow the reach. So we do have massive liquidity for a meme coin of our size. So it's not really a problem that we need to address. But yeah, I mean, I guess if we are going to lock up book, it's anyways, we'll talk more about that later. Keep submitting ideas. Instead of claiming book from farms, can there be a burn ASAP option? And there's an idea.
That's a good idea.
Definitely something we can do. So kind of like to have a button, to have a button beside claim that says something like burn. Maybe it's a drop down where you pick the farm that you want to burn. Yeah, I like that.
Or maybe it could just burn the farm that they're in.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yep.
That'd be interesting.
Make the UI like a cave with gold and book is in the cave. Yeah, there's a lot of really creative things we could do with this. Not my strong point, but we can definitely outsource some of the design and dev work in terms of UI design. Make a CZ cartoon mascot as our official meme. With these high book rewards from farms, isn't that going to create a lot of sell pressure? I mean, we faced more sell pressure yesterday than we're going to see in the entire week's emissions of book. So, it's really not a ton of book being emitted. It's, for this week, it's going to be 4.8 million. And the thing is, like, I did a bunch of burns with my own tokens for loading. So I did a lot of burns for certain of these tokens, especially the ones that have like the large communities. So, Cake is up to 250,000 for the first week chapter. XRP is 250,000. Simon's Cat's only 75,000. But that's where a lot of the emissions are going right now, and those farms are not too filled up yet, right? So this is the time to get this opportunity out into the hands of those community members of those tokens. And what that's going to accomplish for us is, of course, I keep mentioning that it expands our reach, but it's also going to distribute the rewards out a lot more when there's hundreds of thousands of dollars farming particular farms. So that's really the ultimate goal, is to have the emissions go out to so many different users across so many different farms that it's a great thing to participate in the farms. It's free tokens, but it's not like this shouldn't be looked at as like a yield farm protocol, right? This is not a place where you go to deposit in the yield farm and you make money that way, and that's all it's for. Like, that's not the purpose whatsoever of the farms, right? The farms are strictly there to help us grow our reach, and and the burns are going to determine where the rewards go in the future. So we got to just bring all those big communities on board and let them burn for their bags, right, for their farms, and have it keep growing that way.
It was interesting seeing some tokens from some older projects getting buys today. So it makes you wonder if it's here for this chapter.
Yep. I thought the whole point was to give extra use utility for MSS Moonshare. I mean, MSS and Moonshare are already benefiting tremendously off of Book. That's not the whole point of Book. The whole point of Book is that it's a great idea that has legs on its own. It's an independent project from our other projects. It's just, because obviously we created it, we're able to, we have a lot of our community supporting like the Moonshare farm and the MSS farm, right? Like, MSS farm got the most amount of burns, and it's got almost $62,000 locked up in there. So it's definitely doing its thing. But it's going to be on the community to keep those burns up, right? So for MSS and Moonshare to continue to have that demand, the community is going to have to come together and burn books to make sure that week 2 or chapter 2 is going to have nice emissions. Off topic, but any plans to make an MSS MUSD pair? Something that we thought about, but it's not really. You can stake both in farm.
That's utility right there. Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe there's someone that's in the group that have these design skills, and you can give a token allocation for the best UI design idea and layout. Yeah, something we could definitely do. Yeah, because there's no question we need to make the DApp a little bit more visually appealing, and something that's going to really jump out at people when they first see it, and that's something that's in the immediate future. So I was going to talk about a few other updates that are going to be coming, as well as I think at the end of the AMA, I'll talk a little bit about the smart contracts and security for anyone that's interested in that kind of stuff. But I'll leave that for the very end, just because I know that might be something that a lot of people don't really care about. So, yeah, in terms of the DApp, I've already mentioned a sharing button coming. I also know there's no back button once you've selected an individual farm, so definitely going to add that in. But yeah, anybody that has ideas in the community, we're always open to suggestions. So if you can think of anything that's going to make it, easier to understand, because I have a bit of a biased opinion, just because like I do this stuff all day, every day, right? So it's something that like it seems easy for me, but if you guys are getting stuck up on anything or anything's not perfectly clear, then definitely let us know. Something else that we're going to be adding right away is, like, right now I'm looking at, for example, the drip farm in chapter 1. This needs to like very clearly show like rewards start at this exact time, rewards end at this exact time. Just so it's like, it's super obvious. Like, you know, we don't want people to like be depositing when there's 10 minutes left in the farm right before the chapter is about to switch. Right. So that's something else that we'll definitely add immediately.
So is that, do the rewards from the previous chapter go all the way up until, you know, the minute that the next chapter starts?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I'm going to go into details about, you know, why there's separate contracts for every week farm. I'll go over that like when I start talking about the smart contracts and the design philosophy and some security stuff. But yeah, I guess just because I touched on it. So like the farm contracts are separate for every week, and that was by design for numerous reasons. So basically what that means is that even if the farm that you're in this chapter has emissions for next chapter, you'll need to remove your funds from like the chapter 1 farm and deposit it into the chapter 2 farm. And, you know, one of the big reasons for that was, you know, again, with our goal of using the farms to grow our reach and awareness and raise like activity with Book and the DApp itself, you know, having a whale come and deposit a ton of tokens, you know, right at the very beginning of the farms, and then just being able to earn off that for the next year without ever having to touch the position, that's not ideal, right? That's not a great use of our farm rewards. So, you know, having the farms only run for one chapter and having to switch into the next chapter's farm, at the very least, well, for one, we have the deposit fee, so they're paying a little bit to be able to do that. But it requires activity, right? It requires them to be interacting with the DApp, and, you know, all the great improvements that we're going to be coming out every single day, they're going to see those every time they come back, right? So we want that activity. There's a lot of other benefits to doing the weekly farm contracts too, but that was the main one that's not technical.
So Aaron, you mentioned that between chapters, someone would have to remove their capital and then re-enter their capital in the next chapter.
Yeah.
So maybe a button that says carry over to the next chapter would be something useful. Like, for instance, if you're in this farm right now and the chapter's ended, but you still have your funds in there, maybe a one-click solution that does that for the user, maybe a good idea.
Yeah, I'll have to see how doable that is, because again, like the actual, you know, I'll get into this stuff when I talk about security, but the farm contract themselves that users deposit funds to is not upgradable. And that's something where I have to see if it's even possible to do something like that without being able to change the current contract.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I mean, so the way that I've designed it though is that I have to get a little bit technical here, but there's basically any of the downsides related to having a weekly farm contract, where most of the downsides were able to be avoided by using something called like cloning smart contracts. So there's like a master smart contract that is the farm smart contract. And then what happens is a clone of that is created, which really is just like a pointer to that master contract. But each clone has its own, you know, what's called state variables, right? So it keeps track of all the data on its own. So the clone is basically just tracking the parameters, right? Like what farms exist, what users have deposited what rewards are available, what rewards have been claimed, like all that typical stuff that a farm would need to handle. That's all handled in the clones. So what I can do is, like, if there's improvements that need to be made to the farm, we just use a new master contract in the future, right? So like chapter 2 could have an improved master contract that we then start using for clones. So
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it was actually you know, again, I'm going to talk about this pretty soon, but it's an interesting solution that actually like worked out super well for the requirements.
Hell, it sounds cool.
Yep. We got factories, we got upgradable contracts, we got non-upgradable contracts, we got clones, we got all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, when you were just talking about clones and a master contract, I instantly got the idea of like in X-Men, there's the Sentinels, the robots, and then there's Master Mold, which like creates all the Sentinels.
Okay,
that's what it kind of sounded like you were
Same
describing.
Idea, yeah. Let's see what comments we got here. That's a killer for drip with the 10% in and out. So that comment was related to having to move your funds every week. So, you know, that's actually a strong reason to maybe switch over to using wrap drip, but because I guess I didn't really take that into consideration when we were, you know, talking about wrap drip or drip. But let's see what kind of burns drip is going to get for next chapter. Because I mean, we're going to the amount of growth that we're going to experience in the next few days and next week is going to be tremendous. So I think that we're going to see a lot of burns on some of the bigger protocols. So we'll see how relevant like the drip burns are going to be. See how much that community really keeps up with making sure that they have good rewards. So we have to stake and unstake every week. Yep, if you want to keep earning rewards. I mean, that's if the farm that you are farming has emissions the next week, right? So every week it's going to be based on the burns. So, and will there be another fee to withdraw and redeposit? So there's no withdrawal fees. There are deposit fees, but we may reduce or remove the deposit fee in the future. But as it stands right now, there's just a 1% deposit fee. So that would apply to redepositing. Will we be able to farm book with book at some point? So I already kind of went over that in detail. It doesn't really help us accomplish our goals that, we're really aiming to get with the book farm, but it's not off the table. If we can think of some way to like use that to allow us to grow better, faster, then definitely that's something we'd consider. What happens if we don't remove our funds at the end of the chapter? Well, you can remove them later, right? Like, so the farms are never going to disappear. So right now I'm going to change this again so that it by default shows the current week. I just because like we didn't actually have live farms for chapter 0, I had it just like automatically show like 1 week in the future. So I'll fix that, but you'll always be able to go in here and, just go back and see, access any of the previous farms. And also like right now it would get kind of like, I guess frustrating. Maybe that's not the right word, but it would be a lot of effort to like, just say you're farming for like 4 weeks and you forget which farms you're in, like checking like 4 weeks worth of farms and having to check every single one would be a pain. So definitely we're going to have like, either showing the deposits right here on the actual like farm summary page, or like maybe like totals, or we'll have it show somewhere where that you don't have to actually click on every single farm to see like where your funds are.
Maybe
that would be quite nice.
Yeah, we could do something like that. Hit that like button. Definitely.
Smash it.
Guys, definitely on the Book of Binance YouTube channel. Is brand new. Let's get it up there fast. Hit that subscribe button.
Yeah, let's maybe post a link because I think a lot of people might be watching through. Yeah, we got the majority of our viewers coming through the Mint Stake Share channel, which is cool. But let's share that channel link out there.
I'll get that posted for you.
I don't have it handy right now. I can grab it.
You can also clone things, sir.
I'm going to post it now. Okay. To farm books, maybe lock it for a period of time to earn more. Yeah, that's one of the ideas we were thinking of. Do we have same amount time to claim rewards, or do rewards roll over? As previously stated, we won't lose those rewards, correct? Yeah, you can never lose rewards that you've earned. Right. So like any rewards that you've earned, they will be pending until you collect them. At the end of the chapter, they'll stop, accruing, they'll stop going up, but you'll definitely still be able to claim them. All right. Let me see what else I got to talk about. I know I still got the smart contract and security stuff, but oh yeah. So another update that's going to be coming is right now this page doesn't really do a great job, conveying the information that I want it to. Like it does give you charts, and that, they do kind of show everything that you need to see. But one problem is that our charts right now, it breaks if there's more than 8 entries. So that's one thing I've got to fix, because I think this could grow to having, a lot of different options and a lot of farm choices. So, so that's one update, is that, it needs to be changed to support a much larger number of tokens. And I think it just needs to display the information better, right? Like I think a pie chart of, like when you switch chapters, in addition to this, bar chart, we should have like a pie chart that shows like percentages. I think that'd be pretty cool. as well as probably just like a data display, right? Like just like a table, just like, because I think probably will only show like the top certain number in the actual graphical charts, like the bar chart and the pie chart. But if somebody wants to see like what their favorite farm is doing, maybe it's not in the top 10, so it's not part of the part of those charts. We'll still have like a data view that you can go to see exactly what's going on. CMC updates, X listings. Yeah, I think Book actually is a great candidate for a centralized exchange listing. So I think, we got a lot more work that we got to do in the immediate future, but definitely something that we'll be looking into. Let's get that market cap a little higher, and then we'll move forward with that. Zamillion says, cool, thanks. Love refreshing seeing the rewards keep ticking up in my farm. Sure, I'll take $1 an hour for just staking. Yep. So that's something else that I'm going to improve, is that so you don't need to actually refresh it. So that you should be able to like actually just see the rewards tick up like every block. So
in real time.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, because BSC has 3-second blocks, so should be able to see that constantly ticking up. It's all stuff I've done before. I just, like I said earlier, this is all been created in the last week. So, some things are not as polished as I'd like, but it's getting handled super quick. Right? Like yesterday, I was able to, get all the pricing data into the site. So you'll notice now we've got the book price in the bottom corner, and all the farms are, giving accurate data now based on like real live prices of all the tokens. So like the price of the reward token is live, live feed, and the price of all the deposit tokens. So the improvements are going to come rapidly. Sorry if it was asked already. The book farm defaults to chapter 2. I have to go back to see current farm. No problem. If there's a reason for it, it'd be nice if it defaulted. Yep. So that's something it was already discussed. But yeah, I'll fix that right after the AMA. Or if you guys want to keep everybody busy for 10 seconds, I can fix that real quick right now. But,
so guys, put in the comment section what farm that you're currently in. Just kind of want to see who's out there. Are the drip droppers out there? Who's out there in the comment section right now?
Should we do a giveaway?
Were we going to do a giveaway?
Absolutely. Let's do a giveaway.
Okay, yep. That's a good thing.
Play that hashtag out there.
Okay, StreamYard giveaway tool. What shall the hashtag be?
Book.
Hashtag book. Could be. Keep it simple.
Book to $1.
Hashtag book.
All right. Book to $1 with the number 1. Let's go.
Book to $1. Wow. That would be tremendous. Let's go.
What would you guys do with that?
Oof. How many yachts we buying?
Hey.
I want one bigger than Bezos's. Jeff Bezos. I think he's got a pretty crazy one. All right, let me just update this farm super quick here.
$1.
All right, that should fix it. Let me just make sure. Yeah, that's good. Okay. And now you can see you can scroll both ways. Beauty. All right, let me push that update live. We're getting a lot of book to $1 hashtag submissions. Got a lot of responses to your question too, Peter, about which farm people are in.
Let's see here.
Oh, we got a question here. Are you going to have separate AMAs weekly for MSS, Moon Yield, and Book of Binance? Good question. Maybe we will start doing like two AMAs per week, one specifically for Book and one for MSS ecosystem. Still got to decide that, but yeah, I mean, if there's enough to talk about, then I don't see why not.
Got a lot of drippers in the house, Aaron. Interesting. So some people are waiting for their miners to I wasn't in drips, but a lot of people are waiting for their miners to expire before they put more in. Means we got more incoming.
Miners for what exactly?
I don't know. Let's see.
MSS and Drip as soon as my miners over there. Oh, he might be talking about Drip X because there's no miners in Drip. Only Drip X has miners.
Ah, okay.
Drip X doesn't have any rewards.
Yeah, but Drip X isn't even on here. So.
Fiat haters yelling at us. Miners on Drip X, I think.
Oh,
question is maybe a stupid question. No stupid questions. If I'm in another group with their own, can those tokens also be made into farms? Yeah. So this feature is not available yet, but there will be a way that you can add a new token to basically the list of tokens that you can burn, because the farms are always going to be created based on the burns. So essentially the feature that needs to be added is so that, you know, there's a way to add a new token automatically to the burning ability. And that way, like, yeah, I mean, if some other community wants to burn a bunch of book to get their to get some emissions on their token, then I mean, that's very bullish for the book price and something that we'd love to see.
That's amazing.
Oh, we got some birds coming in. Burns, not birds.
Got your cat excited.
Yeah.
Oh man, we got XRP and what's that? Moonshare?
Moonshare,
Nice.
Yeah, guys. Burn early, burn often. Good stuff.
At the end of this first week, everyone's going to have plenty of book rewards in their wallet. So toss a couple bucks back, burn your favorite farm, get those tokens burning, reduce supply, raise the APR, rinse and repeat.
Yep.
I'll be burning 10% of my total at the end of the week to make sure the emissions are right.
Farms should show APR in front if each farm is not only inside, as also the yearly APRs as well, because people are more bullish with bigger numbers. Yeah, I agree about I agree with everything there. So I've already mentioned that we're going to update the farms so that you don't have to click on them to see all the stats. But yeah, I mean, we can definitely show you yearly APRs as well.
They just want to make sure you don't forget.
I mean, honestly, in my opinion, I love seeing the daily APRs because that's the math that I care about, is how much am I getting per day?
Yeah, I think that's the more valuable number to have if you only have one. But I think, yeah, there is some value to showing both. That was me again burning in my farms. XRP, Moonshare, and MSS. Let's go, man.
Nice, man. Let's go.
Way to go.
JD, how much did you burn, man? What's your strategy? 5%, 10%? What's your thoughts on that?
How much will it cost to get a new token in the farm option? Let's say I want X on the farm list. It's still to be decided, right? Like it's something where we have to be careful because, you know, there is like potential for abuse, right? Like I can make a token that only I hold, and then I do like, you know, $3 million or 3 million tokens of burns on it, and I'm the only one that can collect those rewards, right? Like the token has to be, you know, quite liquid and has to be something that has a certain amount of holders, and you know, so there is more to it than just like a certain cost. Because again, like if there's just a cost, then it's something that can be abused.
Maybe an approval process, like after a token has been submitted, you have to approve it.
Yep. Or this is actually a decent idea too. Add a voting feature on which token to add to the farms. So, you know, I think that's probably a better use of like voting than like, you know, originally we had voting just to determine like which are going to be some of the first tokens we added to the burning contract. But I think, yeah, you know, having a weekly vote about, you know, what tokens to add it's not a bad idea.
Cool.
There you go. JD put his burn strategy up there.
Keep those great suggestions coming. 500 book in each farm. $2,500 book in each farm. Correction. Okay. Awesome, man. Well, lead the way. Show the community how it's done, right? That's how you're, you know, if anybody that's in a farm and wishes it was paying better, you know, that's on, you know, you and everybody else in the community to get those burns in to pump the farm rewards. Already earned 200 book. Nice. Yeah. Way to go, man. Good stuff. One more step to retire. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe we should do the giveaway before I talk some of the technical stuff.
What are we going to get, man?
Oh, yeah. That's a good question. Let's do 50,000 book.
Hey.
Sweet.
If you want 50,000 book, hit the like button, guys.
74 entries, and we got 153 people watching. So some people don't like free money. Let's get those entries in.
Come on, guys. Free money. Let's go.
E-money. That's got to be one of our hashtags we do in the future. Just free money. Hashtag free money.
Yeah.
We got a lot of cool hashtags we could do with book. Let me get that book.
Smash them likes, guys. Smash it.
See if we can get a couple more to roll in. I don't really have too much to talk about in terms of the security stuff because I've kind of like already touched on all the points while talking about everything else. But I guess I can.
Yeah, that's good. Went straight to the point, convey the information clearly. Can't argue with that.
Yeah, I'll go like after we do the giveaway. I'll go over it again quickly, and if anybody has questions about it, I'll be happy to answer. It's about to be free book for somebody. All right. Shall we draw the winner now?
Let's do it.
Let's do it, sir.
All right. Good luck.
Here we go.
Oh, I saw myself.
Cypher. Congrats.
Oh, sharpshooter there. Nice.
Get us up in the TG, man.
Yeah. Hit up one of us in the TG, and I'll get that 50,000 book out to you. Congrats again. All right. So, like I said, I already kind of went over most of the like security stuff, but I guess I could just show you guys a couple things. So like like I said earlier, like we basically have a master farm contract, which is like a non-upgradable contract. Actually, I guess I should start one step earlier. What was trying to be achieved with this like setup or this like design philosophy for the contracts. It was an interesting combination of requirements. We needed things to be flexible so that we can adapt easily in the future, whether that be to like adjust how many rewards get emitted every week, right? I've talked in the past about like maybe having like decaying rewards where every chapter will actually have less total rewards than the previous chapter, to be in line with like the price appreciation that we expect to happen on book, as one example. But we just want to have like full flexibility to be able to change how the future chapters are going to look in terms of the farm and in terms of burning as well. But the big problem with that is we needed our farms where users deposit funds to, they need to have, they need to be 100% safe, secure, and users need to be able to have like 100% confidence in them. So one thing that you can't have is you can't have an upgradable contract where users are depositing funds, not if you like want users to be able to trust you basically, right? Because like an upgradable contract, you could change it anytime. So if users are depositing funds to an upgradable contract, I know that I'm a trustworthy and honest dev, so I would never do this, but like users that are just joining the platform, they don't know me yet. They can't take my word for it. So, the security has to come in the code, not through my word, right? So that's why like we can't use an upgradable contract when there's user funds going into it. So the desire for flexibility and the need for like robust, like bulletproof security is like how we ended up arriving at this setup. And there were some other side advantages to it too. Originally I was planning on just having like a single upgradable farming contract. And that's before I started thinking about, it's not good to have an upgradable contract where people deposit funds, but, having a single contract, it presented some challenges when like from one chapter to the next, there could be like drastically different rewards. Like, something that had huge rewards in chapter 1 and all of a sudden small rewards in chapter 2. And it created some complications, and it just everything's so straightforward where now the rewards are set right before the chapter even starts, and they don't change throughout the chapter. So it's a very in terms of reward calculations, I didn't have to change anything. It's like, you know, the exact same as, you know, my first product that blew up, Bomb Money. You know, I actually use like our Genesis farm contract that I've used for all of the tomb forks I've ever done. That was like the base of our master contract for the farms. So it's, you know, those contracts all, you know, I'm sure they've had hundreds of millions of dollars deposited into them, but they've had like over tens of millions deposited while I've used them. So very robust and secure contracts.
Excellent.
But yeah, and you know, something else I mentioned earlier is that I think it's a big advantage to have people having to move their assets every week, because you know it really doesn't help us achieve our goals if somebody just deposits into the farms, and if they could just leave it there for months and earn that whole time, it's not growing our reach, it's not doing any of the things that we want to accomplish with the farm. So you know, I think that while some people might look at it as like a negative that there's weekly farms that you have to move in between, you know, I think overall it's a big positive. Help us achieve our goals.
I think so too. You don't want anybody causing just unnecessary inflation, like for no reason. At least this kind of puts a break in that. Just like for MSS, you have to interact every 7 days.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So I think that's probably about it. Actually, so one cool thing that you guys can see is like all the variables on this are empty, right? Because this is like the master contract. So like this is like the contract that holds all the logic that controls like how things work, but all of like the actual state variables don't exist here because this isn't the actual contract that gets used, right? So basically when I make a clone, it's basically making a clone of this contract. It uses like almost no gas to do it because the clone is like tiny in size. And then it just stores all of its own kind of state and information, but references this master contract for all the logic. So it's a really cool setup. And I mean, luckily, like blockchain, you know, it's mature enough that there's a great existing like frameworks out there to get this stuff done without having to like do it from scratch. Because like this is stuff that's like would be extremely complicated to like build from like starting from zero, right? But like the whole like way to do clones, and it's all, you know, it's all very well documented and a lot of good supporting code out there to make it easy to do it in a safe way. Well, I think that's about it. All I want to talk about in terms of the smart contracts. If you guys got any questions about, you know, why things were set up the way that they were, any questions about security, you know, potential future changes, or, you know, anything that you guys want to know about that, then.
I had a question on the, we had kind of briefly discussed on the kind of like the LP positioning, but you were going to set up kind of like a one-click type of way to set up an LP that allows you to just slowly sell book over time. So you're getting BNB. So it's kind of like a book staking where you're getting BNB, but not really. Could you go over that a tiny bit?
Yep. So there's a lot of ways that it could be set up, but the way that I was thinking would probably be best would basically make it like almost the exact equivalent of somebody that goes to PancakeSwap, creates that V3 LP, you know, at a price range that's like slightly above the current price. And basically they're just going to get that LP into their wallet after they create it. And basically, so for anyone that's not familiar, like what that would do, like entering a V3 LP with just book, basically as the book price appreciates, that position would slowly convert from book into BNB until it's completely BNB once your, you know, top price range is surpassed or, you know, exceeded. So what that does is it lets you earn some fees while it's in the price range, and it also lets you slowly turn your book into BNB at higher prices than what the current price is without ever causing any sell pressure. So you're basically adding some liquidity. You're making it easier for people to buy the token. Although we already have a ton of liquidity, but, you know, more doesn't hurt. And yeah, most importantly, it lets you kind of, you know, slim your position without ever causing a red bar on the chart.
Yeah, that's great.
So, I mean, there's ways that we could even take it a step further, perhaps, where like maybe like we have a smart contract that actually holds the LP for the user. So like that way it could be like a one click to like remove the BNB once it's out of the range, right? Like, yeah, there's a couple different directions we can go with that, you know, might make it easier on the user. I mean, go ahead.
It could just lock the user's LP, and then they would only have one button, which would be withdraw BNB. So all they'd be able to do would just be withdraw the BNB while leaving the LP locked in the deposit.
Yeah. So the only problem with that is that some people might not want to use that because like you could do that the same thing on PancakeSwap, but without it being locked, right? So I think like if we did that, we'd still have to give them a way to like withdraw the LP if they want to.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's a lot of ways that we can get that done. And I think like another tool that I'll add is just an easy way to swap as well, right? Like just something similar to like what we have for MSS, which I'll show people for whoever's not familiar. Here we have an easy way that you can, on either chain, you can, swap BNB for MSS. It shows you, about how much you're going to get. And then you can do the opposite as well. So, just a super simple BNB to book swap and vice versa, I think would be pretty handy to have.
Energy drink there, please. The blue one. The blue one.
Yes, the blue one, please.
Any audits already took place in these contracts? Nope. No audits, but like I've mentioned, like the contracts that handle user funds are, for one, like every contract's verified, so everything can be investigated on the blockchain for anybody that wants to see. And the contract that actually handles user funds it's an old contract. It's had tens or hundreds of millions of dollars that's passed through it, and it's never had any issues. So it's something that I can definitely stand behind and say is secure. And once the contracts are in a more finalized state, we can get external audits. I mean, right now, a lot of the upgradable contracts are still going to be changing, so it wouldn't really be beneficial to have an audit and then have that audit be out of date because we updated something. So what we can do is once everything is finalized in like the burning contract and like the farm factory contract, I can revoke the ability to upgrade them, and I can revoke ownership, and it can be like 100% purely decentralized. And at that point, it would make a ton of sense to get audits. Do you think people will just claim their Moon share from Moon Yield now and stake it on Book, or will that not affect the Moon Yield ecosystem? I mean, I think the question can apply to like any tokens that are in our farms, right? Like people are going to get them from buying them. People are going to get them from farming them if those tokens have farms. It's people can get the tokens any way that they like really.
Either way, it's not really taking away any utility. It's just an additional utility for these tokens. So you can use them all you want in any way you want.
Yep. 100%. Oh, Cypher. Thanks, guys. Can't believe I've made it. You've made it, sir.
Congrats, man.
Yep. Congrats again. That would be awesome. No red candles. Yeah. Like, that whole idea came up just because like, that's like what I've done in other projects, right? Like if I got in early on a meme coin and I'm holding like 2-3% of the supply, that's something that, you realistically can't exit that position without causing a problem once the price goes up, right? Like you'll literally be holding the same amount of tokens as the LP pair when the price really moons, right? So it's like, there is no way to slim that position without hurting the price. Unless you do it like unbelievably slow. But, creating a one-sided LP, it like completely addresses that, right? Like no red candles on the chart. The price has already been moving up. Oftentimes it continues. So, the price just moves right through your range, and yeah, pretty solid idea. What are we going to do every week? Withdraw and restake. Yep. If you want to keep earning, that's what you're going to have to do.
Yeah, because it's weekly farms.
Now for the bullish news, please, Mr. Aaron. What I gave you wasn't enough, man. Come on.
More. Always more.
No, the big thing that I can't stress enough is that like the farms is not a bearish thing. It's a very bullish thing, right? And like this has all been built in the last week. So in a couple of weeks from now, just imagine what it's going to look like if we went from 0 to where we are in a week, right? So fast forward 2-3 weeks, it's going to be, site's going to be unrecognizable because it's going to be so improved. And I think, having easy ways to share the farms with some of these big communities, like what we really need is, or what would be great is to have our community go out and approach some of these big protocols, right? Like take a little screenshot of the cake farm paying 3% a day, show that to some cake guys, right? Like show that to some guys, and there's going to be influencers that once they pick up on this, they're going to make videos about it, and then before you know it, the entire community of cake holders is going to be here and participating in Book, and that's when Book goes parabolic, right? And I'd say like the 3 big ones here for that are Cake, Simon's Cat, and XRP. So if you guys can get the word out about those farms, that's going to be massive.
Yeah, there's some meme tokens there, and there's some real world asset tokens that have looked at this as well. So yeah, there's Guys, there's projects across the board with all different use cases that are eyeballing this with some pretty big interest.
Can we have a bot to indicate book burns? Yep. I'm pretty familiar with making Telegram bots and custom bots. So I'll do one similar to like what we have for Mint Stake Share. We have a stake bot and a mint bot on Mint Stake Share. So I'll have a burn bot for book. And they could also have cool stats, right? To show like, Mint Stake Share was at 30% of the farm rewards, and now at this burn, they're now at 32%, right? And like it could show like the old allocations and the new allocations, and yeah, there's a lot of cool stats we can show with a bot like that.
Gamify it a little bit so people get hyped seeing all the stats change as things get burned.
100%. Yep. Does staking more into Moon Yield and book start your APR over from that point? So the APR is like it's not really how APRs work, right? Like an APR is like your return over a year. So like the more time you spend in something, the more you get out of that same APR. The APR doesn't change, but like your time in the farm is what determines how much you're going to get. So like, and any interaction with the farm will claim your rewards, right? So if you press claim or you deposit or you withdraw, if you do any of those things, this book will end up in your wallet. That doesn't impact your APR or anything. It just, just claiming what you've already earned, basically. We add a W drip farm for tax purposes, or we can already deposit W drip. Yeah, I mean, let's see what the burns look like for drip next week, and then we'll talk about that. I didn't even pay attention to the pre-sale price on book. What was it? It is like very, very close to what the price is right now.
Yeah, 0.004.
Yeah. I just had a couple sales, no big deal. But yeah, it was like right here is 0.004 is what the pre-sale price was.
Now that, sir, is a big comment right there.
Millions. Dropping a video later to inform drip holders about the farms. Let's go. Hey, Arb, I wanted to share this idea with you. What do you think about setting up another staking pool for book and you earn all 3 coins for rewards?
Oh, I know what he's talking about. I think there was I'd have to remember the farm name, but you could stake a token and they had 3 different tokens you could earn from it.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't really apply to what we're doing, right? We don't have 3 different tokens to reward somebody with, right? I hear cats and dogs. It's the whole pet farm. This time, I don't think it's from me. All right, guys. Any other questions? I think we've covered most of what we wanted to. JD, the DGen Kang. Hey, Mike.
Excellent, bro.
Crypto collector.
Hey, man. Congratulations, man. That was a really sweet payout you got there. Thanks for participating, man.
Yeah, I got 4th place, Mike. So I was not mad at that either.
Sick, dude. Freaking free money, man. Excellent.
Who won? Yeah. Do you guys know the wallet of the person that won?
There were 6 winners. We had 1 jackpot and then 5 runner-ups. They're all people within the community because those are the people that played. So within the MSS community or drip community or within our Warriors community. So
yeah, well, I was just wondering if you knew like exactly who it was, but
I'm pretty sure we would if we looked at the wallet addresses. Yeah, it just happened earlier today, so I haven't had a chance to really research who it was, but JD was one of them. So that's awesome.
Awesome. What about a special book staking option? Yeah, maybe watch back the AMA. We've already touched on that a couple times, but it's something where like if the right idea comes along that's going to help book, then that's definitely something that we can look into. So remember, guys, we're a meme coin at the core, right? Like the farms are there to help us, raise awareness and spread the word, right? The way that you're going to win with book is just having a nice bag of book for when it gets to $1, right? That's the way that you win. Thanks, Aaron, for the ultimate DeFi DGen trio. Let's go.
The Hype Squad.
All right. Well, I mean, I've got a lot of work ahead of me. I got a lot of DApp updates, and I got to keep posting announcements, keeping everybody up to date with everything. And yeah, I mean, there's some huge improvements coming to the site that I He's going to be crazy beneficial for us.
Stay tuned, guys. There's a whole lot more coming.
Oh, yeah. Just page number 1. Got plenty of pages left to go.
Love it. All right. Looks like no more questions. So, all right, everyone, enjoy the rest of your Thursday. And I'll see you guys in the Telegram and on our next AMA.
Awesome, guys.
Sounds good.